And start streaming. Hello everyone, Paul Richards here with HuddleCamHD. Excited to be doing a live stream today on Intel Unite. So we just got a couple seconds here before our live stream starts. Here we go, and then we will go completely live here. So we're talking about Intel Unite. So it's a review on the free wireless presentation solution. And we've done a lot of testing. We've checked it out. It's a great software for you guys to use to get free wireless presentation built into any Windows PC, really, which is really the great option. So this is actually our booth here. Cool transition, huh? So let me just zoom out so I can show this full screen here. This is the full HuddleCamHD booth. So this is what you're going to see at InfoComm. We're also going to be at NAB. And it's just kind of a cool way for us to present our webinars through this platform. So without further ado, let's jump right into what we're going to be presenting today. And we have an audio upgrade. Oops, hovering over myself here. We have an audio upgrade, so my audio should sound pretty good today. This is a microphone I'm using from DPA. I don't have my co-host here, but he's been using a Shure lapel mic, and we've hopefully taken the audio up a pretty good couple notches here. So the Intel Unite for meetings is really, Intel is just free, kind of new flagship offering where they are allowing companies to use this platform for free, build applications and plugins for the platform, so we'll be covering that as well, and really just do free wireless presentation, free collaboration, document sharing, file sharing, annotation, all of these great collaboration features, plus Intel is saying that they can increase meeting startup time by up to 70%. So we got some videos to show how it works. Really quickly, I'm going to show a video from Intel showing off, just basically how it works, and I'll kind of narrate it for us. So as you can see here, Intel Unite is a software from Intel that you would put on a PC, and ideally it would be an Intel NUC, which is the really popular Intel computers that are sold there. And that computer you're seeing on the screen there would run Intel Unite, whether it's a Windows, a Dell laptop, or any Windows PC. That would be on your network. And now everyone on your network, whether they have a tablet or a Windows PC or a Mac even, can wirelessly present to the screen by entering the code that will be prompted on the display. So what you're seeing here is a presentation being shared by one person, and everyone can either locally look at it, or up to 4 people can wirelessly present their content at the same time and create a collaboration space that everyone can look at. So that's really what it is in a nutshell. There's also file sharing. You can see a little bit of annotation there, so people can kind of mark documents up as they're collaborating. And really, it's just a great new feature from Intel. It's completely free, and it's completely open. So if you have developers who need to add something, a little bit of extra functionality to the software, it's completely open. There's an SDK for that. So let's go over a couple of the major benefits. One of the major benefits is you can lock down the Intel Unite software as an appliance. So what that means is it means that IT departments can rapidly deploy these without having to worry about end users, tampering with the Windows software or the Windows applications. So that's a really good thing. It makes it really easy to use. Software, and there is a chat here, by the way, everybody. So if you want to chat during the live show, I can answer questions here. So we think that this is something that anyone in the AV or IT world should know about because of the fact that how easily you can deploy wireless presentation capabilities across your network, and it's free from Intel. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. What you will see, and we're going to show this off in a little bit here, is when you install Intel Unite, it's on a PC that's connected to your display. So it's either connected to an LCD or a projector. And it will display this code here. So you will see a code that everyone who walks into the room will, on your network, so on the Wi-Fi or hardwired to a network connection, on the same network as the Intel NUC or the PC connected to your display, they will be prompted to either download the software if they don't already have it. It's just a small piece of software, which I will show in a video right here. So in this video, you can see that we have the client there. So that's the little piece of software that would be on the end user's PC. So if there's 4 people in the room, all 4 of them will have this little piece of software that they can download directly from the computer on your network. It'll give an IP address for that. And they can then wirelessly present from there. So we just click the wirelessly present button, and this is showing 2 people wirelessly presenting at the same time. On the right hand side, that we're looking at there, that actually shows the IP address that you would type in, and it prompts the end user to download the client, whether it's for PC or for Mac, and that client is that little rectangle there that we were looking at earlier that allows them to either share files or wirelessly present directly to the display. So that's how that works. The installation of the Intel Unite software on a Windows PC is extremely quick and easy. So that's a really good thing. You can very easily download it directly to yes, they do have a Mac client, Brad. Yes, they do. That is, we'll look at that in a second here, where you can see, and I know there's a little bit of latency on the live stream, but you can see here that this, actually we're annotating on the same shared screen here on the Intel Unite, and it will prompt you to either download a Windows client or a Mac client. And those are your 2 options for clients there. So it's actually, that software, the client software, is actually hosted on the Intel Unite host PC. So they don't have to go out to the internet to download the client software. It actually will come directly from the computer on your network, which is really highly secure, because then you're inside you're behind your firewall, you're on your network, and Intel has an SSL encryption that they use as well. So that makes it really nice. At this time, I do not believe there are iPhone, iPad, or Android apps. So I will just say to the chat, no iOS or Android that I know of at this time. Should be coming soon. So yeah, we don't know for sure about any of the other platforms at this point. All we know is that it's Windows and Mac at this point. I'm almost positive that they will be releasing an iOS and Android app. I would feel like they kind of have to, but at this point, it has not been determined whether or not that when those are going to be released. I couldn't find any for iOS, and I couldn't find any for Android. What they are touting for mobile devices are the Intel tablets. So they actually are Windows tablets, so they're Windows PCs really in the background, and that's what they are touting for their kind of mobile support at this point. There's also file sharing. So the way the file sharing works, I'm going to go back to our full screen share here. You can see that on the client, and I wish I could I'll make this a little bigger. On the client here, you can see, let's just zoom into that client there a little bit. You can see that on the client there is a wireless share button. So that would just immediately share your screen. And then below there's a share files. And what that does is it would prompt you to click a button, and everyone who's connected to that meeting, you could then share files with. So hopefully that makes sense. It's just a very simple file sharing, secure way to wirelessly present the content that they have. So that's there. So the file sharing's there. The installation was something I wanted to briefly talk about. It's really only like a 3 or 4 megabyte download, so you very easily can download that software, and once the software has been downloaded, you can then download the client software from an IP address that will be displayed on the Intel Unite splash screen when it's on. One of the things I wanted to mention is when you install Intel Unite, it's a very quick installation. We have some videos on it. It'll ask you have two options. You can either install it as a dedicated appliance or as just an application. If it's a dedicated appliance, what that means is when the computer starts up, you will literally boot directly into the Intel Unite splash screen. That's ideal for IT departments that don't want to have to support users having to tamper with Windows. So there's just two paths you can take. If your users need to have access to the Windows computer because you need to give them access to, like, let's say a Skype for Business client or something else, and you don't know how to build a plugin to create that, then you might want to just do it as an application. So you can launch the application when you're ready to do your wireless screen sharing, and it's very straightforward. If you want to lock down the PC, you can install it as a dedicated appliance, and then you can either use their open API and SDK for creating very simple, very integrations with launching. Let's say you just want them to have access to, Skype for Business application, or just access to PowerPoint, or various applications on your Windows machine. They don't have it like really ready to go. You have to build a simple SDK or API, so it's a little complicated, but you can do it. The other thing I wanted to mention is that the Intel NUCs, they come in either a Celeron, an i3, an i5, or an i7 form factor. The i7 is actually the only one that's going to reliably support dual screen displays. So if you want to see a dual screen display, if you want to use a dual screen, then you may want to go for the i7. It's only about $150 more than the i5, and you're going to get a lot better performance out of it when you do dual screen. If you're just doing very basic, single screen, not basic, but single screen applications, then yeah, you can definitely get away with the i5, maybe even the i3. So something to think about. You don't need to go with that i7 model if you're not really doing dual displays. The other thing we've noticed is that with some of the higher end softwares, the more heavy softwares like Skype for Business, WebEx, GoToMeeting, an i3 really doesn't cut it. You really do want to go with either an i5 or an i7 processor to have the ability to really take advantage of the dual displays, not have any hiccups with your system, and just really take advantage of that. So I'd like to really just answer questions at this point. That's a really basic rundown. So wireless presentation built right in over your network for Macs and PCs. You do need a host PC plugged into the computer. You've got file sharing with everyone as part of that meeting. You've got annotation capabilities, which we showed off at the end of this video here. When we were doing some of that wireless presentation stuff, we showed off the easy ability to collaborate. And you can see here that at the end of this video, I'll kind of speed it up, we're annotating on a shared screen, and that could be a shared document. So you could do annotation over your network. Other than that, the only other thing that we didn't really show was, or we showed it but we didn't talk about it, is that you can have people collaborating remotely that aren't in the meeting room. So the way that works is they're on your network. They're not necessarily, they could be on the other side of the world, but they are going to have to be on your network, and that is for the security features of this software. So yes, you can share video. I haven't tested video and audio together, which is usually can be a little bit of an issue, so we may have to do a little bit more testing on that. I'll just say that we will have to test audio and video together to see what the frame rates are. We haven't had a chance to test that yet. So I will definitely get that as a test, and we'll make a couple videos on it as well. But normally, as long as it's really kind of reliant on your network. So I don't know what the compression is at this point, but you should be able to do some really good wireless presentation with the ability to share video as well. Yes, you can certainly do that. Other than that, if there's any other questions, let me know. We're pretty much, that's pretty much everything. I mean, it's really straightforward. I just wanted to, it's a free service. So whenever something big and free comes out, especially from a name like Intel, we wanted to be able to share it with everyone. So hopefully this has been a really good rundown of everything. We can certainly stay on, answer questions if anyone has any other questions. It's really straightforward. It took me about 2 minutes to install the software. It was a super easy installation. Once it was installed, it was very easy to run the software, which was a good thing. And I actually have the software on our on a Nook in this room, so I could potentially share kind of the splash screen with you guys if you want to see it live in action. We could certainly do that. So why don't I go ahead and launch Intel Unite. I have an Intel Nook on this computer here. So this is what it looks like here. So that's an Intel. Now I have it so that it's not locked down. So I can still access my Windows bar and everything, right? It's right down here. I can access it. But this is a trial version. It's going to expire in 13 days. It's just an evaluation version at this point, but it has been officially released. And you get the IP address and /download. And that is where you would download this client locally on your network. And then there's a pin. So that pin would need to be, the reason why they have that pin there is because you may need, that's like an extra level of security. So if they show that, if they see the pin, they're obviously in the room. And that pin rotates. So what is the bandwidth that you would recommend for a good user experience? So so it doesn't actually reach out to the internet. So it's only internal network speeds that are required. So for example, if you have a 10100 network, you may not be able to run Intel Unite to its best capabilities. You definitely would want to have a gigabit network in place. From what I'm told, the internal bandwidth that's being used is only roughly 1 to 2 megabits per second. So it's not external. It's just internal communications between for each client. So it depends on what they're doing too. I mean, if they're sharing static images, Intel has a way of making that a really nice and easy platform. If it's not, you can very easily sorry, I lost my train of thought. So 1 to 2 megabits bandwidth for each person. It depends on what they're doing, right? So if they're receiving video, that's going to take less than sending video. If they're receiving just static images, that will be less than receiving static video files. And then the host PC is really hosting the entire meeting, so it's a really simple process. We found it to be really easy. As soon as you connect, you hit that little share button there, then your PC will be shared to the display. So that makes it super easy. Once you hit that share button, you are wirelessly presenting your screen. And you can see here, once the second person joins, it'll be split screen. The third person, it will be in a three-way, and then up to 4 people in a quad view is the way that ends up working. So guys, we've got about 1 minute for questions. These are supposed to be really quick. It looks like, look, we're at 1:19, so we really only have 1 minute left for questions. Last chance for questions, everybody. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. We love having you. It's last chance for questions here, and then we have to wrap it up. Thank you so much for being a part of this, everybody. If you have questions, You can join our Zoom meeting, and I'm going to be there after so that we can, we can do that. But it looks like we've kind of answered everybody's questions. Thank you all for joining again. We're going to show the credits and wrap the webinar up. Thanks, everybody.